Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to Culz Book Reviews, first episode of 2025. Today we are going to check out Norman Mailer's Oswald's Tale, an American mystery. Now, if you're not 100% sure what it is about, based off the title, it is a book about Lee Harvey Oswald and his actions leading up to the assassination of JFK, as well as his own assassination at the hands of Jack Ruby. But before we get into my thoughts, let's take a look at the book. So I know there is a couple different copies you can get with different covers. Mine, as you can see here, is the kind of classic black with kind of a photo negative of a building here with Oswald's Tale, an American mystery in white, and Norman Mailer, the author's name, in gold. You can see along the side we see Oswald's Tale, an American mystery. And then again we see that photo negative, as well as Norman Mailer's name and Random House Publishing. On the back is just a picture of Norman Mailer himself, as well as our friendly ISBN. So this one as a book clocks in at 791 pages, quite a bulky read. And as you see as we flip through, it is all words, there's no pictures or anything like that. So it is all just text in this one, so let's get into my thoughts. So what did I think of Norman Mailer's Oswald's Tale? Well, I had picked this one because the anniversary of the JFK assassination was coming up. So this one clearly took me some time to read. And I just wanted to read something a little bit different. This one was supposed to be more of Oswald's story and what happened to him leading up to it. And so I thought that was something different that I haven't really looked at before on the channel. So yeah, I mean, obviously this is called Oswald's Tale because it's following Lee Harvey Oswald. But I would say just as much so it's following Marina Oswald, Marguerite Oswald, Robert Oswald. So in a sense it is kind of the Oswald's Tale as far as the Oswald family tell. And I will say what this book does good in particular is telling the Oswald tale. You know, so often, yeah, we might get Oswald here or there, a little fleshed out, mainly in the act of that day and the following couple days when he's in prison. But this one's kind of flipped the script where it's old Oswald and Kennedy's just kind of that brief little mention on that day. So that was kind of interesting to me, kind of just take that viewpoint and read it just from a different side of the story. I will say I learned a lot about Oswald, be it, yeah, we knew about some of his time in the military and going to Russia, or I should say the Soviet Union. But man, you really get a lot of intel into what military life was like for Oswald. You get a lot of time with Oswald in the factories that he worked in the Soviet Union. You see how the KGB was like, could this guy be a spy? Maybe. And then the more they kind of watched him, they were like, nah, he just wasn't up to the level of what they thought a spy would be. You know, they kept him intel. We see a lot of Soviet like intel and just research and kind of spying on him and what information they gleaned from those activities, as well as some interviews with some of his coworkers or I guess pseudo friends that he had in the Soviet Union. You know, you see his time in New Orleans, but it's expanded. You see a little bit more time in Mexico. You know, the good thing about the book being so long is it really does give it the opportunity to go in detail about whatever it wanted to. Yeah, at points it felt a little too much. There was sometimes it began to slog a bit just because it went too much detail. The author was just trying to be thorough. No stone left unturned. And I can say, yeah, for the majority, I don't think I know of a book that is more highly recommended than this one if you want to know about who Lee Harvey Oswald is. Now, does that mean this is all correct and factual? No, I haven't done my research into that portion. This is more just kind of like my initial thoughts after reading the book is, yeah, it's not bad. It's probably one I would recommend. I would say it's pretty solid to read. I definitely learned a lot, and it covers, obviously, kind of be what people are going to refer to as the mainstream story. But he does go into the conspiracies and kind of why they don't work, and maybe a little bit why they would work, or yeah, maybe Oswald does have some missing time here, and what maybe that could have been. It does seem like he tries to stick more with just what he can prove factually and not try to just guesstimate or speculate on what he could have been doing. But, put some facts down and being like, considering this, this, and this, it's possible. So yeah, overall, I'd say it's a pretty solid read. The writing style I had no qualms about. It was, even though it was a long book, it never felt like it was textbooky to read. I know that's kind of my go-to when talking some of these bigger books, especially with how I've talked about the Brushy Bill hoax one by Gil Cooper, where I'm like, there's some good information there. It's way too long, and it's very much too textbooky. And so I think at times that textbooky style, even if there's good information, it's going to just deter people from wanting to read it. And maybe that's why some conspiracy stuff gets off the ground. Why the Brushy Bill story is easier to swallow than the actual factual story in that one. Because the Brushy Bill story is much easier to read. This one, it's not quite like the Billy the Kid El Bandito Simpatico book in the style. Not that good written, but definitely better written and more enthralling and making you want to read it than the Gil Cooper one. So I'll give it some plus there. I will say, I now know Norman's written some other books about topics or people that I find interesting, so I'm sure that's a name you will see in the future. Is it by far my favorite one? No. But if you compare it to the book The Day Kennedy Was Shot, it's pretty on par with that one, I would say. Just, it's reverse. It's not about Kennedy and Johnson and all those people. They do make their brief appearance. Like I said at the beginning, it's about Oswald and his family and his lineage and how they reacted with it. You do get a little bit about Ruby. Maybe you do get a little bit of speculation, and maybe speculation of the interviewees. But overall, it's pretty solid, I would say. A good 8.5 out of 10. Very interested to see how this ranks in my tier list for end of the year. This was my final one for 2024. And by the time you watch this, it'll be 2025, so hopefully the New Year's been rocking for you guys. We got a plan for what we're going to be doing as far as some books right away for the New Year, so stay tuned. As well as we got some others that we just didn't get to the reviews before 2024 was up, so you'll see those ones. But we will be starting a book club, the first of which is the Midnight Library, which we'll probably discuss first like Monday of February, so it should give you some time to read it in January. And then we'll do that one live, and just if you guys enjoy that, we'll keep doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, until next time, guys, solid 8.5. If you guys want to see me talk about more books, click that link to your left. For more about us here at Culz Paranormal, click that link to your right. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a subscribe. And let us know, in 2025, is there a book we should read? Tell us in those comments below.